Narcissistic mothers are among the worst parents out there. While a narcissistic father isn't great either, mothers often have a much more profound effect on their children's lives than a father does. Instead of being the stereotypical nurturing mother who wants her children to thrive, a narcissistic mother is concerned only with herself. Because of her self-absorbed nature, she is bothered by many things that other mothers look forward to. There were times when I thought that I was what my narcissistic mother hated the most. She seemed to treat me as though I was a constant source of disappointment. It left me feeling like I was not enough for anyone for a very long time. Understanding what it is that your narcissistic mother really hates can help you understand that it's really not about you at all. Let's explore these 6 things narcissistic mothers hate and why. When you think independently. The last thing a narcissistic mother wants is for her children to think independently. If you think independently, you don't really need her to tell you what to think and how to act. She doesn't like that because it means she is not as important as she wants to believe she is. Narcissists in general see the other people in their lives as extensions of their own identity. This happens because they need other people for the external validation known as narcissistic supply that props up their self-esteem. They have spent a lifetime manipulating people into feeding them a constant supply of adoration so they can feel good about themselves. That has made them see other people as extensions of their own identity, even their own children. In fact, a narcissistic mother will often see her children as sources of narcissistic supply that can be stable, even for the rest of her life. For that reason, she doesn't want her children to be independent thinkers. She wants them to need her to interpret the world for them. She wants them to stay around her forever. She doesn't want them to become independent, functional adults. This video explains the many things she might say to control and manipulate you so you can't be independent. This is part of why my mother wanted me to feel like I wasn't enough. She wanted me to be dependent on her, even as an adult. When you know something she doesn't. A narcissistic mother, like other narcissists, has created a false self-image of herself and infused it with grandiose ideas of superiority. They often project an image to the world that they are omniscient. If you know something your narcissistic mother doesn't, that means she's not superior, at least in her mind. She has to face the idea that you know something she doesn't, which means you're superior to her in one way. Even though you're her child, that doesn't make it any better. She still can't stand the idea that someone knows something she doesn't, because it undermines her claim of superiority. A healthy mother would be proud of her child for learning something she didn't know and teaching her about it. But a narcissistic mother can't see it that way. She has to be better than everybody else, and she lives in constant fear that someone will show the world that's not true. It's worse if it's her own child because she has always been the one person her child has depended on. If you know something she doesn't, it signals that you're becoming better than she is, and that she's getting older. That's something that's very difficult, particularly for a narcissistic woman. When you ignore her advice. Another thing your narcissistic mother hates is when you ignore her advice. She believes herself to be superior, and she wants you to be dependent on her for your interpretation of reality. When she gives you advice, and you don't take it, you are saying that she is imperfect. At least that's how she sees it. She fears that if you follow your own path, or take someone else's advice, you will slip out of her control. That doesn't benefit her at all, and she is fearful that you will see you don't need her. The narcissistic mother's dream is to have her children always coming to her for advice and to better understand the world around them. She believes that other people will see that and understand that she is a great mother. When you come to her for advice, she feels like that is proof of her superiority. When you ignore that advice, it's like you're spitting in her face. Your accomplishments. I remember many times when my mother would tell me what I needed to do, and filled with determination to make her proud, I would go out and work hard to do what she said. When I actually did it, I couldn't wait to tell her about it. I was so certain she would beam with pride, but that's not what a narcissistic mother does. Instead, my mother would say something like, "Enjoy it while it lasts, 'cause you can't keep it up for long." Or, "What took you so long?" Instead of the accolades I was expecting, she rained on my parade at every turn. I was always so confused and disappointed that she couldn't be proud of me. This is part of why I always felt like I was never enough. It truly didn't seem like I could ever please her. Initially, I thought there had to be something wrong with me. It wasn't until much later in my life that I realized the problem was with her. Once a narcissistic mother is able to instill that sense of not being enough in her children, it's hard to get rid of that. I still have trouble accepting compliments and truly enjoying my success. When you contradict her. Narcissists in general do not like being contradicted. This is particularly true with a narcissistic mother who feels that she is superior. She has been your source of knowledge and guidance all of your life. But naturally, you reach an age where you start to think independently and make decisions for yourself. Most children contradict their parents at one point in time or another. It's natural, but for the narcissistic mother, it's a slap in the face. In fact, she will often slap you in the face when you contradict her as a show of how much it has shocked and angered her. When you contradict her, particularly in front of other people, it undermines her image of perfection. It's a direct threat to her false image of superiority, and she can't afford to tolerate it lest she be exposed as flawed. If you dare to contradict her, you can expect a forceful explosion of narcissistic rage. She will have to reestablish her superiority immediately, and her rage is one way to do that. Not only that, but it will discourage you from ever doing such a thing again. When you don't like what she likes. Remember that your narcissistic mother considers you an extension of her own identity. As such, she expects that you will like the things that she likes and dislike what she dislikes. This video about the good daughter syndrome explains more about what she expects. If you don't, that indicates independent thought, something which she doesn't want. This is why a narcissistic mother can't just simply accept that you have your own tastes. She needs you to like what she likes to reaffirm her perfection. If you don't, in her mind, it feels like you're saying there's something wrong with her. Part of why narcissists can tolerate divergent views is that they think in binary terms. You're either entirely with them or entirely against them. There is no in-between. If you don't like something she likes, you're placing yourself squarely in opposition to her. You might think you can just agree to disagree, as most healthy people would, but your narcissistic mother takes your divergent view as open criticism of her taste. Finally, a narcissistic mother hates anything that goes against what she wants or advises. She hates when someone steals her spotlight, and she hates when someone represents competition to her own superiority. She will do almost anything to ensure that you can't become your own person. She doesn't want you to be able to live without her. She is counting on you being her all-important narcissistic supply until the end of her life. That's why she will try to manipulate and control you, even to the point of using emotional wounds she created to trigger a response in you that will make you more vulnerable to her abuse. My 5-step roadmap to heal emotional triggers can help to prevent her from doing just that. It's a free guide that will take you step by step through recognizing and identifying your emotional wounds and triggers. From there, you'll learn how to diffuse those emotional triggers so she can't use them against you. You can even heal the original wounds that caused them. And if you can do that, you can be free from her abuse forever. For a copy of this handy guide, just click on the link below the video and I'll send it directly to your inbox. Thanks for watching.